Should you buy the Note 9? Hey there, friends on YouTube. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest it hurts. If this is your first time here, thank you for stopping by. I hope you'll come back again. And if you've been here before, you are so beautiful to me. Well, let's talk about the Note 9, the new phone that's coming out from Samsung. It was just announced and everybody's been talking about it. I've got smartphone cases for the Note 9 here. I got this gigantic box that's a smartphone case. I don't know what that's all about. I'm going to be doing reviews of them. I got a dummy, Note 9 dummy phone. So that's going to be fun. It feels good in the hand, if you know what I'm saying. People have been thinking about smartphones as kind of running the gamut of basically the same thing. But the more that I think about it, the more that I understand that for some people, the budget phone that costs maybe $200 to $300 or maybe even less than that, that's the right phone for them because it gets the job done and it fits in their budget. That's great. That's a smartphone for them. For other people, the mid-range phones, they work just great, giving up a few of the flagship features but still getting a lot of the performance. Let's say I'm talking about the OnePlus 6. That's a phone that a lot of people love. And part of it is that $500, well, close to $600 price range. And then you have the big boys. You have the iPhone 10 starting at $1,000. You have the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. They're just behind the iPhone 10 in terms of price. You've got the Samsung Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. You've got the Pixel 2 and the 2 XL. And we know we've got the ugly Pixel 3 and 3 XL coming soon. And maybe there's a Pixel Ultra and maybe not. And we've got iPhone 10 Plus and iPhone, the Peasant Edition coming out. We know we have all these things and they're all going to be flying above the fray, right? In there, though, is also going to be the Note 9. And I'm here to say that you really need to think about whether or not the Note 9 is the phone you need to purchase before you decide to pull the trigger on the gigantic price tag that is $1,000 for the lower end model, $1,250 for the higher spec model. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But I think in the case of the Note 9, we can point to some things that might justify the price tag if it fits your use case. What's a use case? A use case is the situation in which you happen to use your phone. Do you use it for light browsing of the internet, perhaps some emails and some social media? Then the smartphone that you use and that probably you need the most is what I call a lifestyle smartphone. The iPhone, for example, is the perfect lifestyle phone. It's sort of one size fits all. It does a lot of things well. It doesn't do anything special. But when you think about the iPhone, you don't really think like, wow, it's got this one whiz-bang feature that I just got to have because that's going to make my daily life better. Same thing goes for phones like the Pixel. The Pixel is kind of like, like the C student of smartphones. It does some things well. It basically is competent in what it does. A little bit ugly, a little bit uninspired. C-level student, Pixel, right? The Samsung S9 and S9 Plus, those are really pretty looking tall, long, tall phones. And, they might be like the popular kids in the school that doesn't exist, this metaphor that I'm trying to extend that really isn't worth extending. But anyway, the S9 and S9 Plus are lifestyle phones in the sense that they don't offer anything over and above what the typical functionality of a smartphone is. So what does offer something more than the typical functionality of a smartphone? Well, we can look to a phone like the LG V30 from last year. Not only was it a solid Android phone, somewhat hindered by the LG skin that goes on top, but it was also a media creation beast with the cameras and an audiophile's dream with high-quality DAC built into the headphone array so that you could use your great headphones and have a great experience instead of just like pleb headphone experiences like this one. Another example is the Note series. The Note series came along a long time ago. The giant phone with a stick of a pen inside, and you could write notes on it, right? And you could, well, most people didn't know what you could do with it at the time. But over the years, the Note 9 has become more and more specific and more feature rich. While some people complain that now it just looks like another extension of the S line of phones, what you can do with the Note is so radically different than what you can do with any other phone out there that it bears discussion. And in that discussion, I think we also have to consider whether or not it's worth you or me or anybody else making that purchase. So let's talk about the specs of the Note 9. In many ways, the typical specs of a 2018 smartphone. You've got a Snapdragon 845. You've got a 6.4-inch Super AMOLED screen. And then it starts to get interesting. You can get a phone with 128 gigabytes of storage, which is a little bit more than the 64 that most phones offer on the bottom end. Or you could go 512 gigabytes of storage and 8 gigabytes of RAM. Now, to do that, you've got to spend $1,240. And the Note 9 also offers DeX functionality right out of the phone. If you're not familiar with DeX, it's when you can plug the thing into the thing, and then you can plug the HDMI into a screen, and then you can use the S Pen and mirror it on the screen, or you could use keyboards like this one and wireless mice like this guy, and you could use it as a, well, not a computer. It's not a computer. It's more maybe like a Chromebook. Okay. This is major functionality that not many people are going to take advantage of. Who needs the Note 9? Who needs to be a member of the Note squad? Well, I think if you're somebody who is a creative professional and you like to take handwritten notes, but you no longer feel like carrying a notepad with you, and you want to have your notes with you everywhere that you go and available on other platforms as well, then the S Pen gives you that option. And I know for me, I've carried a notebook with me for years, about the size, let's say, of the Note 9, but now I don't have to, because I can carry the Note 9. And I've had each of the Note phones, at least for a period of time, ever since the Note 1 or the original Note, the OG. I don't know. I didn't have the 5. I didn't have the 5. They took away the SD card thing. What was that all about? So if you're somebody who thinks that having that S Pen is valuable to you and you're going to use it on a regular basis, whether it's in meetings, whether it's for your own creative workflow or just regular workflow, if you think that you're going to need that, then perhaps the Note 9 is for you. I know that I will use that feature. The S Pen also offers a ton of other features like screenshot features and a bunch of other things that you cannot get on another phone. A lifestyle phone might involve, say, pressing a couple of buttons to get a screenshot, whereas with the Note 9, you can pull that baby out, you can press screenshot, and you can capture just a portion of the screen. So easy, so nice. It's just very, very useful for those people who need to get a lot of value out of the feature set of their phone. The Note 9 is not a lifestyle phone. The Note 9 has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. The use case for the Note 9 is exceedingly different than the use case for any of these other more lifestyle driven smartphones. The case for the Note 9 is for somebody who's very serious about wanting a companion for the work that they do that will stick with them and be right there on a regular basis. The 4,000 milliamp hour battery means that you are going to have battery for the entire day. I remember when I was carrying the Note 8 and it had a 3,300 milliamp hour battery, I was always filled with anxiety, battery anxiety. And I hate battery anxiety. But with 4,000 milliamp hours, I don't think I'm ever going to have that problem. 8 gigabytes of RAM, that means the phone is going to stay peppy for quite a while. 6 gigabytes of RAM is even really, really good. 128 gigabytes of storage, 512 gigabytes of storage. You might say to yourself, well, these days with the cloud, who needs that much storage? Well, I'll tell you who needs that much storage. People who need to bring video files and have them on their device, not in the cloud. People who need to have productivity files on their device, like presentations and advertising pitch decks and all kinds of different things that they need to have on the phone, not in the cloud. These are people who need this kind of storage. If you're a music fan and you want to have all of your old, burned CDs, MP3 things, then you could do that too. If you want to have your entire collection of movies on the phone, you can do that too. Not everybody, in fact, not very many people these days use all of the storage that exists on their phones, and 64 gigabytes is plenty. In fact, this is 32 gigabytes, and I've had no problems with it in the few months that I've been using it. But when you talk about the Note phone and the people who are going to use the Note, these are people who are going to demand more from their phones than other people will. And that's not to say that the way that you use your phone, if it's not that way, is wrong. I'm not saying that at all. It's just to say that for a long time, we've kind of been lumping all these phones together when really we've started to see a separation. You have your lifestyle phones, you have the phones that will cover everything and be good for just about anybody, but then you have your specialty phones like the Note series. The Note phone was the original specialty phone, and still to my mind remains the best specialty phone, at least for my use case, maybe yours. I don't know. Is the Note 9 a phone that would be right for you? Let's talk about it down in the comments. I'd love to know what you have to say about it. I'd love to know whether or not you think that there is this separation between more purpose-built specific phones as well as lifestyle phones like, say, the iPhone, the Pixel, the S line of Samsung phones. Let's talk about it down in the comments. It will be fun. I promise. You can call me names if you want to. I love it. Thanks for being here. If it was your first time and you think you want to mind, but then maybe come back. If you think you maybe want to come back, then you know what to do. You know what to do. If you've been here before, then you are the reason. You complete me. In closing, I will say this. My name is still Jason. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest it hurts. Until the next time, I'm out.